Hey everybody, welcome to Subversive Fashion Art Tarot. And today I'm going to be talking about Kanye and his deal with these fashion companies like Nike, um, Adidas and The Gap. Um, Kanye's partnership with Nike started in 2007. Nike decided to sign Kanye, who wasn't an athlete, because basically they only sign athletes for a deal. They don't sign musicians, but they decided to venture into the music world by signing Kanye. And it was their first time doing something like that. So, but later on down the line, Kanye expressed frustration over Nike's unwillingness to change. He explained that the decision to move on was made because Nike refused to pay him royalties for the sales of his own brand of shoes that he was designing. Once Kanye released the Nike Air Yeezys, the Red Octobers, he left Nike and ended up reaching out to Adidas for a deal. He stated, "The old me, without a daughter, would have taken the Nike deal because I just love Nike so much. But the new me with a daughter takes the Adidas deal because I have royalties and I have to provide for my family." Now, now, moving on to Adidas, Kanye describes the CEO of Adidas as someone who allows him to build something. Under their partnership, Kanye retains 100% ownership of his brand while having full creative control over products released. He has a 10-year deal with Adidas until 2026. Now in recent months, Kanye called out Adidas for blatantly copying his designs, specifically with the Adifoam Q and Adilet 22, which resembles his products. Um, but I did read a statement from HeisnerBrady.com that Kanye West was to leave Gap and Adidas at the uh, uh, end of his Yeezy contract. Um, but then Kanye also had another deal with the Gap, and which was a 10-year deal, which was supposed to end in 2030. Um, which was called the Yeezy Gap apparel line, a deal, which was going to generate $1 billion in annual sales. Now, Kanye's attorney stated, um, the Gap left Kanye no choice but to terminate their collaboration agreement because of Gap's substantial noncompliance, meaning that failing to meet obligations with product distribution and opening Yeezy Gap stores. He felt he had no say so or no control over anything. Basically, he was just an image and a name, and they didn't take him seriously. So, yeah. So, the question is, will he ever get a true partnership with a fashion or sneaker brand company? Is it him or them? What is next for Kanye in this venture, in this creative design space where he just wants to be creative and do what he loves to do? And right now I'm gonna start pulling cards. Check them first, and we're gonna find out what's going on with this situation. All right. All right. Holy Spirit, give me insight on this reading. Allow me to see what you like me to see and what you like me to know and what you would like for me to share with people who's watching this video. And thank you. Thank you so much. I love you. Thank you so much, Spirit. Thank you. Oh, I'm card. That's interesting. Okay. All right. Just for people that don't know, I usually close my eyes when I pick the cards. So, anyway, just wanted to share that little bit of information. All right. First card I get is the Knight of Cups. And this is what covers Kanye. This is Kanye right here. Kanye is the Knight of Cups. And that's a new relationship card. And its meaning is romance and artistic talent. So he definitely has a lot to offer to the world. He has so much he wants to share. You see him? He's riding his horse. You know, he's coming to the world with so much to offer, so much he wants to give. You know, and see the wings on the hat here? See that there? That's just that his mind is it's just going so fast. You know, it's just his creativity is just endless. It's infinite. It just, I mean, his it's like his mind is like in the stratosphere. It's like beyond what anyone can ever comprehend. You know, he's just so abundant in his creativity. And you know, he's coming in on this horse. You know, he's being true to who he is, and he wants to share, he wants to give the world so much. You know, he just has so much to offer. And I see that right here. This is definitely him. Yeah. Now, what covers him is the Empress. Okay. And the Empress represents, well, this is a mother. You know, she's fruitful, she's abundant, and she's healing. Again, this is like a creative card. And again, it's filled with so much creativity. So this definitely covers him. You know, I'm sorry, this is the situation. This represents the situation. I'm sorry. Yeah. You know, he's just sitting there, just in abundance. So I can see the Knight of Cups, him offering the world so much. There's so much he wants to give, so much he wants to offer. And then it's covered by the Empress, who is creative and abundant in his imagery. There's so much life, so much energy, so much he wants to birth and want to bring into this world. So much he wants to, share it's so much he wants to say. That's a lot he says with his music and also with the clothing and the shoes he designs. He just wants to be big. He wants to be just beyond. If that makes sense. Yeah. He's like he wants to go through the stratosphere. So I definitely see these two cars connecting. Yeah. Um, Now, what's beneath him is the of Cups, and that's a wish card, like one of the best cards in the deck. It's like wish. No, I'm sorry. It's like wish fulfilled. It's like his wishes are being fulfilled. Now, this represents like past influences, um, because it's beneath him. It's like past influences, um, that he has gone through already. Because he's living a fulfilling life. He's been very prosperous. He achieved so much, with his music, also with the fashion. People are supporting him around the world. When he does a shoe drop, it just goes out just like that. And in his music, people love his music. They buy his music. I mean, people just really love Kanye. They support Kanye, and Kanye's just sitting right here in his chair, very proud of himself, very full of himself, and he should be because he achieved so much. But his mindset is like really strong, and I think he gets that from his mom. His mom really influenced him to be a thinker and to um, not be afraid of what he has to offer and what he wants to give out to the world. And he has no need to be. He's has so much self love that's instilled with him from being little, and that really comes from his mom. So his mom's really been a influence on him, which caused him to be self reliant, self fulfilling, has developed a lot of self confidence, and to be assured of who he is and himself. He's this allowed him to achieve and be the best that he can be. You know, this Yeah, but I also see this as a proud card too. Although it is a wish fulfilled card, but this I see it as him being proud of himself. And this card also extend to who he is now. Although it's beneath him, which also represents past influences, but it's so current because he kept this habit on to today. If that makes sense. Okay, in his past is represented by the Nine of Wands, and that's like strength and reserve card, and it's like standing your ground, self defense, defense. He's standing guard. Like, see him standing guard. He's looking out for himself. He's looking out of his surroundings, and he's protecting himself. And that's in his past position. And so, yeah, he achieved so much that was beneath him, but in his past, um, he had to defend himself, and really, really fight for what he really wanted, and I think this really helped. I mean, because he went through that struggle, he had to get his mind, he had to really focus his mind. And I think this is during the time, again, I'm bringing up his mom again. His mom is the foundation of who he is. I feel that's very strongly. His mom is the foundation for who he is. Yes, his father is around. Yes, his father's still alive. But I feel more his mom. Um, because, I just see him listening to her, hearing her, and which helped him to really develop some kind of self guard, develop a self respect, a self reliance, and really depending on who he is. I mean, depending on himself. Yeah, if that makes sense. So he really depended on himself. Yes, she was around. He did everything he did to help his mom, which He did. That's what every young boys like to do when they grow up. They want to take care of their mamas. I know I do. Well, my mom's not here anymore, but even if she was, I would want to do what I can to help her and be there for her. So he's no different for any boy that loves his mom. So he's definitely a mama's boy. So that's what I get there. Now, what crowns him is the Hierophant, uh, aka the High Priest card. This represents tradition, conviction, and orthodoxy. But also at the same time, it's like searching for the meaning of some kind of spiritual meaning. Some kind of spiritual connection with God, spirit. He is a Christian, so he definitely connects with God. And I also, this really influences what he does in his design work and with his um, when he designs his shoes, design the collections that he does, and also helps give him the self confidence that he needs um, to do what he loves to do. It gives him strength, gives him self reliance, which also comes with the self defense card here. Um, I can see that connection there. Yeah, self strength card here. Um, yeah, it's like a spirituality. He's connected spiritually to God. I think is also a connection to his ancestors. And I feel his mom is probably whispering in his ear or hitting his subconscious some kind of way to connect with him. Yeah, that's what I get there. Yeah. Now, in his future, what's before him is the Four of Swords. And this is usually a respite card. It's like recharging your batteries. Now, this is in his future position. Now, usually with this card, I get rest, ease of mind. He needs to ease his mind at the same time. Also connect with spirit as I get here with the Hierophant. So, um, yeah, definitely have to rest his mind, rest his. Um, I mean, when he rests himself, he gets clarity. That's what popped in my head right now. It helps him with clarity because sometimes he gets really muffled or he gets very unfocused and clear because I know he has mental health issues. And so this card really isn't a surprise. But he definitely needs to take a lot of rest because when he takes this rest, he's able to focus better and he has more clarity. And if you notice in the news, you notice how he he speaks well, he speaks clearly. He's not going on a rampage, although sometimes he does. I think he loses it sometimes still. But when he's talking to the media, he seems to be very clear and focus minded, which is like the new Kanye. Because the old Kanye would just be loud and obnoxious and just and just don't give a shit for nothing. So don't give a shit, don't care, uh, kind of attitude. But now it's like he's reserved. Um, he just has a lot of self clarity. But I mean, he still loses his self from time to time. But he's better than what he used to be. And I think also with his family helps him with that too. Helps ground them a bit because he has 4 kids now, so he definitely needs to be grounded for them. And I remember in the news he said this what he's doing right now is not just for himself; it's for his daughters, for his sons. These are for his kids. He wants to leave something back with them. So that's why he's really fighting so hard. And I get that here. So he definitely has to take rest, relate to spirit, relates to God, um, but because all that helps keeps him grounded, who he is, with who he is, and also helps develop this new Kanye that we all see. And I get him getting better and better. In the next 10 years, this man is going to be better than what he is. I mean, he's we all go through life when we grow. We mature, we get better. Hopefully, excuse me, let me do that. That's what we hope to achieve in our lives. We all want to mature and grow and be the best version of ourselves. So, yeah. Now, okay. Next card I get is the Tower, and that represents himself, what's in his mind, you know, and this is in his self position. And with the Tower, it's like major uh, transformation. It's 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 like it's like inevitable changes. It could be a good change or a bad change, but it's like constant changes. Like, yeah, you know, yeah. This card represents the house of God, and it's a collapse of a structure. So in his mind, he's rebuilding, restructuring. There's always major transformation going on in his head, but also this transformation with these companies is like new changes because it didn't work out with Nike, and then he moved on to Adidas. Now I'm not sure if if he's staying with them or is he going to fulfill the contract. I saw that in highestnobriety.com that he was going to stay and finish the contract, or he might just terminate it like he did with the Gap, where he just sent his lawyers in to do all the paperwork to just end it. So, but I think he's starting to really put things together because he's been with these companies for a while and he's starting to understand the infrastructure of how it's all connected, of how it all works, how the clothing get manufactured, how where to get the fabrics from, where to construct everything, where to get the designers to help him. He's starting to understand and connecting the dots, which is bringing on this major transformation in his mind because when you go through all these changes, you're collapsing, but you see, you're rebuilding. He is seriously rebuilding. Yes, this looks very destructive, but this man is rebuilding in his head. He's seeing it, he gets it. But also at the same time, these companies he's worked with, I think it's just building up to where he wants to go. You know, because he's a quick learner. He picks up. He's observant. He sees it. He asks a lot of questions, talks to the people. It's easy for him to just connect with Ralph Lauren or the owner of Complex or some big. See, he don't talk to. I don't say he talks to people that owns businesses, who owns companies. He goes to the CEOs. He goes to the company. He goes to the owner of the company. He wants to talk to them to understand how things work. So I get that with the Tower. Yeah. Now, the next card I get is the Moon. Yeah, this card has always been a mystery to me. But this card represents his environment. And this moon, yes, it means deep instinctual forces and self deception, but it's also representative of your like subconscious coming to the forefront, or your subconscious. It's like you have to face your subconscious. Like what's in your subconscious is coming to the forefront, and you have to face it. Yeah, it's like this constant It's not a battle, but he has to balance. But this is in his environment where other people are looking at him. Yeah, so this card could be a reflection of him, and people are representing that to him. So it's like he's the lobster, and he's coming out the water, like he's coming out of his subconscious. He's emerging from the sea, which is representing being in his mind. It's like the mind is the water, and he's coming out of it. So that lobster is coming out of that, like this crab is coming out of the water to the surface to see what's going on. And here's the tame dog, and here's the werewolf, the balance of good and evil, right in here. And here's this long road he has to go, to get to where he wants to go. And that moon is can be very deceptive. Depends on how you look at it. You know, some people look at it as a bad thing, but it can also be a good thing too, because people can show you who they really are if you really pay attention. And I think his mind, his eyes are seeing that too, so he knows who he can trust and who he cannot trust. So he's dealing with that as well. Yeah. hmm it's like I see it like almost a yin yang effect. Um, being the wild and the tame with these animals here, which represented the people that are around him. So he see the good people and the bad people, and so but his mind is opening. He's this crab coming out of the water, which is like coming out of his psyche on out to this world. And look at this long road he has to go to get to get to where he wants to be. Yeah. Yeah, that makes sense. Mm. Yeah. Now, in his hopes and fears, I get the Eight of Cups. And this Eight of Cups represents a change of heart. It's saying goodbye, moving on. So right now, it just that seems to be the situation with him right now, because he's just leaving these companies because he's not getting what he wants. He wants more control. He wants more say so. He don't want people to just walk over him like he's not there. He's there, and he wants to put out his vision, but it's not going to work if you're trying to walk over him and you're putting out product that he's not approving. It doesn't collide with what he wants to say. It doesn't speak. What's the word he used? He don't want to use aesthetic, but he likes his language. I think that's the term he used. His language. He wants people to understand the language that he's putting out into the world. So he's saying about these companies, but you know, to me, it makes sense for him to just go on and do his own thing, because I think he's built the knowledge to get what he wants. I wouldn't be surprised if Kanye just started his own company without a major conglomerate, without feeling like he needs a partner, you know, and without this middleman that he doesn't want. Because I feel like it's leading there anyway, and it's starting to show up in this card here because he's saying goodbye here in this hopes and fear position. So he's moving on from that, where he doesn't have to deal with having a partnership with a major conglomerate, because these are corporate people. And he did say he's not a numbers guy, he's a creative person. He has, I mean, no, he didn't study fashion, he didn't go to school for design. He didn't do any of that, but that doesn't mean he can hire the people to assist him in what he wants to do. So, in my mind, he is a designer, and if you have the money, baby, you can be whatever the hell you want to be. Point blank and a period. Okay, so anyway, that being said, next card I get is the Ace of Pentacles. Now I got two cards, but the first card I get is the Ace of Pentacles for the final outcome. So for the Ace of Pentacles, I'm getting firm financial foundation. It's like a windfall, a helping hand from spirit. You know, it's definitely a helping financial hand from spirit. Yeah. Spirit is giving him so much financially through his music, and it's allowing him to venture out and do other things, and it allowed him to easily build partnerships with other companies. But he got in there because of his status, his celebrity assist him with that, because the companies were looking for opportunity too. They were looking for they were open to partnerships, and they caved in for partnerships because he wanted to work with them, and he knew he generates capital. He generates more money because he has a huge following of supporters that really love him, that follows him, and will support him in anything that he does. So, yeah, it's like a windfall of financial success. So, whatever he does turns to gold, and he's always achieving. You know, Nothing's going to get in his way because he's going to get what he wants. And guess what? Spirit is behind him. They're backing him 100%. So, because he's out there making moves. So with the moves he make, they're helping to knock those doors down and to help assist him to get where he needs to go. Yeah. That being said, the second card I get as a final income is the King of Swords. Yeah. With the King of Swords, I get authority and command, cool rationality, sound advice. This man is very stern and very strong, but he's very fluid with his thoughts and with his actions. Um, and as you see here with these butterflies around his mind, around his head part here, because to me, butterflies represent transition, changes, and transitioning. He's always constantly changing. And then with the symbol of the moon, again, that's very mystical. That signifies to me that spirit is with him, um, which connects with this card here. Spirit is giving him a helping hand financially. So, because when he thinks it, he goes out and takes action, and all Spirit's going to do is just back whatever he does and wants to do. So, nothing's going to get in his way, and his sword right here is erect and is standing straight up. He's he comes with a sense of command. He's like a soldier. It's like, I'm gonna go out and make this thing happen, and nobody gonna tell me what to do. He's very headstrong like that. You know, but I can see he's softened a little bit. But that old Kanye is still there. He didn't go nowhere. He's learning how to maneuver himself better than what he used to be. So yeah, and his mind is clear. Get a little fuzzy from time to time, but his mind is clear. He's like a big giant in this big world because his mind is big. So he thinks like a giant. He has a huge mind, um, in terms of how he thinks. Yeah. So I see him persevering. Um, I feel say I you know what, I'm gonna say this. I wouldn't be surprised if Kanye goes ahead and start the infrastructure of building his own. The only thing is he likes to do things on big scales. He don't want to start from the ground up. He's kind of like, I think this is the reason why he wanted to work with these conglomerates, because what he has to say is big. He didn't want to start from the bottom. He wanted to just be out there because he's already big. So why should I start from the bottom? Why just go with a company that already has everything, the infrastructure, the ability to get the product out there quickly. He didn't understand or know any of that. He didn't understand how that worked. But now he's he's getting that information. He's learning all that because he doesn't know what to do. He learned like everybody else. But I will say this: I wouldn't be surprised in the next few years. I can't even pinpoint it, but um, probably in the next 4 years that he's going to have his own. He's going to have his own. Hmm. I mean, he has his own in music, but he's going to get this. He's going to get this fashion thing down. Yeah, I know he's already looking to sever the contracts with Adidas. He already let Gap go. Um, but yeah, I definitely see him just having his own. It's better for him to have his own. He has more say so, and he could just build his own team, and he's going to hire the right people to work with. I wouldn't be surprised if people that he's met with these other companies will come over and work for him. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if some of them left those companies to work at his company, at his uh, Yeezy company. So yeah, I definitely see this man prospering because it's not ending. There's no ending for him. It's just continuing on. He really is. Yeah. Much success for you, Kanye. Yeah, spirits are backing you 100%. Ain't nothing getting in your way, honey. Not a damn thing. Yeah, you call the shots. Mm-hmm. You really do. Well, thank you for coming to Sylvester's Fashion Art and Tarot. I hope you enjoyed this reading, and I thank you for coming and listening to me. And for those that want to support me, please feel free to go to my Etsy shop, which is Cynthiana James, all one word. It's on Etsy, Cynthiana James, and take a look and see what I have to offer. It's mostly metaphysical, new age, spiritual shop, and check it out. Yeah. Thank you for coming. You guys take care. Bye.